YouTube is experimenting with a new policy that limits ad block users to 3 videos before preventing them from accessing further content. Some users received a pop-up informing them of the change and telling them to either subscribe to YouTube Premium or whitelist the site. We have a screenshot
So check this
here.
out. So here's the wording. It looks ad blockers violate YouTube's terms of service. For everyone who was arguing with me about that, by the way, moment of silence because rip you. It looks like you may be using an ad blocker. Video playback is blocked unless YouTube is allow listed or the ad blocker is disabled. Ads allow YouTube to stay free for billions of users worldwide. You can go ad-free with YouTube Premium and creators can still get paid from your subscription. And then there's 2 buttons, allow YouTube ads and try YouTube Premium. This is going to generate some backlash. Okay, sorry, Luke, there was a little bit more here.
Absolutely. Wait, was there? No, I was just talking about the screenshot. YouTube says users will receive several notifications requesting they allow ads, and in extreme cases, disable playback. Oof, my dyslexia made that ad block instead of playback, and I was like, whoa. I thought they were going to use Chrome to disable the ad block, but no, they will disable playback on accounts that don't comply. In other news, Twitter now appears to be blocking users from viewing content unless they log in. No logged out viewing. Can't get past
Luke and I have talked about this for a long time. Guys, the cold, hard, like honest truth, guys, is that passive, like image-based ads do not pay to keep servers online. They do not pay for people to work on websites or channels or games or any of the services that you use. That's not an opinion. That's math.
Yep.
They don't. They just don't. So that's why we ended up with all of these obnoxious, moving ads and talking ads. And that's why it's escalated. And that's why suddenly there's a war against ad blockers, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but interest rates have gone, free money from VCs has gone, and all of a sudden these services that didn't really care how profitable they were, or at least cared only a little bit, are looking at their books going, oh, the free ride's over. We can't just set our company valuation based on how many daily active users we have. That's not revenue. So you guys are seeing a change here. And I think, honestly, the backlash about this is in no small part, and boy, we're going for the hot takes today, but is in no small part due to entitlement from the viewer. We've gotten used to everything being free. That's what happened. Whether it ever should have been free, I mean, that's a longer conversation. But the way that it is now, we've spent a long time with things being free, and now all of a sudden, the free lunch is gone. You know what was really interesting for me? I watched an old episode of The Simpsons the other night. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's not from the Golden Age. It's kind of pre-Golden Age, late season 2. It's called Homer versus Lisa and the Eighth Commandment, which is like very, very religious for modern TV, but something that, you would see in the late 80s, early 90s. And Homer steals cable. He has a guy splice him in, and at the end of it, he comes around to that theft is wrong, which is obviously the message that any television program is going to end with. The moral of the story is that stealing from a nameless, faceless corporation, we'll make some jokes about it, but it's still stealing. And Homer, repents and turns off his free access because Lisa is worried about eternal damnation or whatever. And I'm looking at it going like, this is The Simpsons? Also, people would freak if they aired this today. People would flip. Look how mad people were about what I said ages ago. And there's a lot of them are still mad. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. I never even went as far as The Simpsons. I never said, wow, you are breaking the 8th commandment, which is like the rules to not go to hell. I did not go that far. I just said, you need to be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
It affects creators. It affects their income, and you need to be aware of what you're doing. That's all I ever said. Never said don't do it. We've even shown you guys how to do it. And it's been really interesting seeing people attack me for that. The hypocrisy. They've shown people how to do it, and then they say not to do it. Right. But you imagined the second part. That actually was something you imagined.
You just have to know and accept. Yeah, I don't know.
So this is
too complicated.
Man, this is
back in my day, pirates called themselves pirates.
I'm surprised they're doing this. Like, they could have. Tell me this, Luke. Could they have done this 5 years ago? They already had immense market share with Chrome. Like, it would be as simple for them as saying, okay, look, we're just going to like break the functionality of ad blockers in Chrome, and that would eliminate a lot of ad blocking. In fact, they've taken steps towards that. But
yeah, I actually suspect culture-wise, this might have gone over better if they did it like 5 years ago, because there was a bunch of other sites doing very similar things back then. There are still some sites doing that today, but not as many. Yeah, it's kind of interesting doing it now. There is really no real YouTube competitor. There was some sites kind of thinking about it back then, but not super seriously. I know Twitch kind of tried a few years ago and then sort of gave up. And I had some internal conversations with some people I won't name at Twitch who basically were like, yeah, I mean, they've kind of mastered VOD. And for us to be able to catch up with them in VOD is going to take an extreme amount of time, an extreme amount of money. And it's honestly just not worth it because they're so ridiculously far ahead. And that is a thing. And I don't really see anyone coming up against YouTube, because to be able to come up against YouTube properly, you don't just need to make YouTube, you need to make one of the world's most effective ad platforms. You have to do sustain it both at the same time.
Under its own weight.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're going to have to do it in-house, because anyone taking a cut on that is going to make it so much worse. So, yeah, it's kind of rough.
I honestly think a huge part of YouTube's problem is they suck at marketing premium.
People in chat are like, oh, you said you wouldn't name it, then you said Twitch. No,
the people.
The person at Twitch, yeah.
Shoot, what was I saying? Yeah, I think they do a really terrible job of marketing YouTube Premium. The number of people, I actually was tweeting at someone today who, frankly, rightly has a bone to pick with YouTube, right? Is YouTube perfect? No. But they basically said, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I'm aware of YouTube Premium, but I'm sure the amount that creators are getting is not remotely what YouTube is pocketing. That is not true. Out of all of the major social platforms, YouTube is by far, like by a country mile, the most equitable when it comes to sharing revenue with creators. It's not even close.
Something.
There's a reason that major TikTokers, ex-Viners, major Twitch streamers, there's a reason that YouTube doesn't have to give them $100 million signing bonuses like Kick is handing out in order to draw people over to YouTube. I got to find some wood to knock on. They actually do, for the most part, try to do right by creators. They make a lot of mistakes. Absolutely. And they can be outright incompetent sometimes. But they give more YouTube Premium revenue to creators than they do to themselves. That simple.
I've always found this kind of interesting. I know a lot of people that pay for Spotify Premium.
Yeah.
I know you and me that pay for YouTube Premium. I know no one else that pays for YouTube Premium. But YouTube Premium does fantastic things for your YouTube viewership, and it also gives you YouTube Music. Is YouTube Music as good as Spotify? No. But people will point out the cost of YouTube Premium as that being a really big negative. And of course it is. It's like $14 or something like that. It would be great to not have to spend $14 every month. That would be fantastic. But Spotify for an individual is $10.
Canadian.
So it's $4 more, and you get all the music is like, maybe it's not as feature rich as Spotify.
$2 more.
It's $2
YouTube
more.
Premium is $12 a month Canadian.
Oh wow. So it's $2 more like that. Man, for me, YouTube Premium wins that every time. I don't know. I don't really get it. Because like, okay, sure, Spotify's better or something. I've never really had it. I am not a fan of a few things in YouTube Music, but if I look up a song, it's there. It'll work.
And like, I don't want to pretend the product's perfect. Like, I have a family plan, which is 23 Canadian a month, covers up to 5 people, but sharing it with my kids is totally broken. So, for example, when I want to allow my kids to sign into Sonos with their YouTube account, it can't because they have minor accounts, like kid accounts. And I'm sitting here going, hey, if this is a family product and there's like it comes up as some like G Suite permissions thing for me to change, except that you can't buy a family account with a G Suite account. You can only buy it with a personal account, and a personal account can't change G Suite permissions. I reported this like 4 months ago and just never got a reply. And I'm like, okay, so I guess if my kids are to have proper access to YouTube Music through our Sonos speaker system, they will just have to, I'll have to flub their birth dates or something like that for a secondary account, at which point, oh, good, now they've got access to full-fledged YouTube and everything in Chrome, and I can't lock anything down. This is ridiculous, right? Yeah. Man, if you ever want to be frustrated, try to manage family accounts and family permissions from any of the major tech
anything
companies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, all of those products seem to be developed by people who do not have children, just have never used it.
And yeah, to be clear, I'm not dogging on people that have Spotify. I just find it interesting that YouTube Premium seems to have such low conversion. Like, I feel like so few people get it. But it offers a lot. It feels like, to me, it offers a ton. And then
Meanwhile,
you
I'm
look
sitting here going, who doesn't have Spotify?
Yeah, exactly. Spotify has like insane buy-in, like tons and tons and tons of people have Spotify. And I understand it's like podcasts and music. But then I feel like a lot of the, I've seen a bunch of, I didn't feel like this before, I've seen a bunch of comments in Flowplane right now that people are saying that they have Spotify because of the podcasts that are exclusively on Spotify. So that's interesting. People are saying you're a YouTuber though. Yeah, but I don't really watch our own content too much. I'm mostly watching other people. And I don't watch other people because I do YouTube stuff. I just watch other people because YouTube is like one of the best places on the internet to get any amount of information. I don't know. Some people saying they pay for both. Yeah, I think that's not super common. But yeah.
That was tactful. Yeah, Malvain in Floatplane chat says, as a tech dad, so much rage in managing my kids' permissions. Yeah, I didn't by default have permission to play multiplayer games with my kids, even after I enabled their accounts for online play. They're my kids. That should just be obvious. We should all take that for granted. Ugh.
You get ads on podcasts with Spotify Premium? Oh my God. I had no idea. Oof. I'm not into that. The main reason why I have YouTube Premium is because of no ads.